some amazing hair. I mean, I wish I had hair like that. That this guy is, he may be an imperfect clone, but that's some perfect hairdo, man. I mean, look at that. That's like locks for days.
I can agree with that. Okay, a little warning ahead of time. I've tested this lav mic several times, and it's always come out okay. And I've been wanting to use it in video, so here we are. But you know how that goes. When you finally use it for something that you're working on, that's when it goes to hell. But just remember, we're still talking about toys. I'm still Robo. This is still The Rewind. We're going to start off with a couple of things we already knew about, but has new pictures, like the Kaiyodo Amazing Yamaguchi My Hero Academia toga. We saw the initial reveal for this last week before, a couple of years ago. At this point, who knows? But at the time, I think I said something like, if they stick to schedule, we'll see the pretty promo pics soon. And boom! Here we are. We've gotten used to Kaiyodo nailing the look of the characters, but there's something extra here. It's probably the facial expressions or the way they printed the facial expressions. It looks just like the show. There's kind of a animated look to it, which I know that's what they're going for, but you know what I mean. But then there's also the body proportions, the colors, the overlays. It just all works really well here. Then the articulation in some places is very, very apparent, and I understand, yes, it's Revel text. Sometimes it's like that, especially in vanilla poses in neutral position. But it seems like we've been seeing that a bit more lately, especially in the elbows and the torso. Who am I thinking? Oh, Chun-Li, wasn't it? Where it was just big old boom, and it's the same thing here. So yeah, it's going to depend on limb diameter, and female characters have smaller, and then you put the joints in, and bah. Still, Amazing Yamaguchi is beating all the other companies to toga, and it still looks amazing, pun intended. Looks spectacular, looks fantastic in hyper action poses, which is what the whole purpose of Reveltech joints are. That's what this line is meant for. Just crazy poses. So yeah, gotta give Kaiyodo their flowers. They make a mean action figure. We also knew about the Mezco 1/12 Collective Rumble Society Tangerine. She was revealed at San Diego Comic-Con, then recently teased. This week, pre-orders went up and then immediately sold out. Hey, I just wanted to get that out of the way before getting too deep here, manage some expectations. I mean, there's the wait list, and there's always a chance of that fulfilling, but as with most of the Rumble Society figures, you gotta be there as soon as it pops up, which is a shame because dang, this figure looks absolutely stunning. I think we've seen most of these weapons before, but the gold, oh, it really makes it pop. Not sure about the riot shield though. Have we gotten that in a previous release? Is that an existing piece? I can't keep up. I was told at SDCC that it utilizes a newer female body that allows for a lot more movement, and seeing some of these promo pictures, I believe it. But again, maybe harder to get at this point. It does say Badass for Hire Deluxe Edition. And I always think, oh man, so this is the Deluxe Edition. Is there going to be a Standard Edition? And it doesn't happen as much as I would like for it to happen. But who knows? It's Rumble Society. They may just... I'm just now realizing that I front-loaded all the female figures into the first of this episode, but that wasn't on purpose. That's just how it happened timeline-wise. Take the 4 Horsemen 2024 holiday season Figura, Obscura, Ghost of Christmas Past. That popped up for order. I mean, as soon as the last rewind went up, this went up. But that's okay, that's what next week's are for coming back around and looking at all the cool action figures I missed out on. Just barely. Now, I will admit, I am not that familiar with the original Christmas Carol. I've pretty much seen adaptations. Okay, full disclosure, my Christmas Carol is Scrooged. That's one of my few holiday traditions. I have to watch that movie every year. Saying all of that, what threw me off at first were the 4 arms. Not in a bad way, just in a, hey, that's kind of crazy cool, I like that. If that throws you off in a bad way though, the extra arms are removable, so you can have just a boring old plain anatomy top action figure. 2 arms, 2 legs, head. But there's also alternate decaying and half decaying faces, and I think that opens up a lot of possibilities. She can just be a random scary ghost in your display, or a Banshee. While we're talking about old movies, I say Banshee, and that takes me back to Darby O'Gill and the Little People and that traumatizing nightmare of a specter in that movie. That's the feeling I get looking at this. Ooh. It is in stock to order on Store Horsemen right now, and I think they just posted before I walked out here that they will be taking down the listing at the end of this weekend. So if you're interested, go get her. Some holiday action figure action brings us around to the Fresh Monkey Fiction Naughty or Nice 2024 collection. I just posted my review of the 2023 collection on Thursday, and then Big Bad Toy Store posted the listings for the new stuff right then. It seems like I posted it, a few comments came in, and boom, there was new stuff. I'm already behind. And the sculptor Arlen Pelletier just continues to knock these out of the park. The core concept of the series is a lot of reuse, but then all the parts and pieces to add on to make individuals, and then the new stuff for the new wave. So good. Now, jumping back to my review, I said something like, oh, these rings and harnesses are probably for an eventual sleigh of some kind where you can tie all the reindeer together, put it in front of that. So again, I posted that review, and then the sleigh went up for pre-order. I think these rings and harnesses mean $1 million is about to be dropped off on my front doorstep. Nope. Either way, the sled looks great. With the controls on the dashboard and then the red and gold trim, it just all works so well together. It also looks like there's options as far as the harnesses go. You do not have to put 8 reindeer out in front of it. You can bust that number down to 1, 2, it's just all swappable. The bars, the reins. Now again, when it comes to the Santas, we're used to a lot of reuse. That's a weird sentence to say out loud. But it's no different for Zombie Pirate Santa. I think we got Zombie Santa, we got Pirate Santa. Here is both of those concepts in a different color scheme. And that's the only Santa, which caught me off guard because we're used to having so many Santa options within a wave. But then this caught my eye. Santatar? Or, well, I've seen suggestions for Santar, but that comes off as just straight up Centaur. I get it, but Santar does roll off the tongue a lot better. Santatar. Because there's also Krampatar, which I keep wanting to say Kramputar or Krampustar. Kramputar. Look at these things. It's the reindeer bodies with Krampus and Santa shoved on top of them. And the clever thing here is, I think the only new part is that connection point between the reindeer and the torso, the abs, or the front, or the crotch. Man, Centaur anatomy is weird. But then each also get a new head to change things up. Something else also new to the line are children, which is the next logical step. It's Santa, it's Krampus. You gotta have kids who are either happy on Christmas morning or sad because they were bad that year and are being punished. Looking at the size chart, the height comparison between Santa and the elves and Nutcracker and reindeer and the kids, they are smaller, but they have more articulation than the elves do, which is very, very cool. Just like past collections, this is being run as a crowd fund. Kinda. It's more like a wait list, where if they don't get enough pre-orders for a certain figure, it doesn't go into production. But here's the biggie. I want everyone to look at me. Stop what you're doing, quit playing the game, or watching TV off to the side, or driving, whatever you're doing at this exact moment. Right here, look at me. No money is taken until orders are fulfilled in 2026. So there's no risk here. The campaign's running for the next 70 or so days. There's no reason whatsoever to wait 69 days and go, oh, well, I can finally throw my pre-order in. Here we go. Something catches your eye right now, pre-order it. And then take a year to decide if you're gonna keep that pre-order. Part of me does wish that the payments would be taken up front. That way I don't have to worry in a year. It's just come into stock, ship, receive toys. The other part of me does like the freedom to assess my financial situation when they do start to hit and then make my moves based on that. Big Bad Toy Store exclusive. Link in the description. Speaking of wait lists, one popped up this week for the Heroic Signatures Titan Comics Battle of the Blackstone Conan. Yeah, I had to read it because I'm not familiar with most of that. I'm just like, look at this Conan. It's not so much a wait list in the sense that you're locking in for the figure. I think the company is just using this to gauge interest. And to that I say, by Crom. Everyone needs to go over, put their name and email in, because I think this is my personal Conan. I'm not familiar with Titan Comics or this storyline, but when I picture Conan, it is pretty damn close to this. If it looks familiar, it is being designed and managed by Eamon O'Donoghue, who is also doing that duty for Frazetta Girls with their Conan and Dark Wolf and Tigra and all the rest of the figures coming out there. He says the articulation is not final, but I'm seeing those double knees and wondering what else is going to be implemented. There's a laundry list of weapons on the site, but they only picture these 4. For the rest, we got to go digging back to San Diego Comic-Con again. Long story short, Joel Acklin in the Robo Don't Know Patreon chat posted this picture and said, hey, it's the Conan we saw back at SDCC. To which I replied, no, that's the Frazetta Girls version. This is a different version, designed by the same person, but a different version for a different company. Then Joel hit me with this. Holy shit, what was I doing at San Diego Comic-Con? I also didn't see it mentioned after Comic-Con either, which is actually how I saw the Frazetta Girls version of Conan, was on social media afterwards. I guess I was just wandering around the con floor. So thank you for setting me straight, Joel. I appreciate the picture and the info because it does tell us quite a bit more. It looks like they called their full shot 6 months ago with all the weapons pictured, along with some other tidbits. 1 deluxe figure, multiple looks, or 3 individual figures, retailer exclusives. That's when you notice the bare chest and then the full shirt version. I don't know if that's swappable overlays. I'm guessing it is because they do say 1 deluxe figure. And if it comes with the options, it's got to be swappable, right? I just went in a complete circle there with my logic. There's also a calm head to go along with the gridding, and then 2 horned helmets and 1 flowing locks hair that, yes, I'm very jealous of, just like Kane. I'm guessing all those options are going to depend on how much interest is shown. So again, click the link, throw down your John and Jane Hancocks because I want this figure. Keeping with promo picks that don't quite have pre-orders yet, here is Ramen Toys 3-0 to go along with their recently released Marshall. I've talked about it before. Somehow I missed Bravestar back in the day, so I didn't get the Marshall, but man, a good-looking anthropomorphic horse is downright tempting. Love the look, love the rifle and how it breaks down and goes into 2 holsters on his back. Love the color scheme, love pretty much everything about this. I don't think it's going to be able to transform down into horse mode, though. It doesn't seem to have those kind of proportions to the figure, but you never know. Ace has said that they're still working on the prototype. Maybe they're adding that to it. Same time, that always seemed kind of awkward. Again, I didn't watch a lot of it, but later I thought, does he ride his partner? And again, don't know the full story. So if you're going to the comment section going, well, actually 30-30, well, I say that out loud and realize they changed the name because it's not licensed, but changed it to the name of another toy production company. So I don't know. Look at the horse. It's so horsey. That's all I got because that's all the information we have. Just prototype. Just one news item from McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse this week, and guess what it is? Go ahead, guess. Yeah, it's another Batman. The McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Gold Label Amazon exclusive cover recreations The Dark Knight Batman, to be specific. Nailed it. First glance, woo, it's the DKR Batman we've gotten several times, just in a dark grayscale color scheme. And that's mostly correct, but there are some changes. tweaks, I guess. I do believe this is a new head sculpt. Previous versions showed teeth. I don't see any teeth here. And then special thanks to my buddy Dis Thunder for pointing out that the chest logo is painted on. So not huge differences, but it does accomplish its mission to look like the original cover. And that's it. That's what it's trying to do. Nothing more, nothing less. If you like what you see, pre-orders will open up next week. If you don't care about this, move along. Move along. Another month, another Optimus Prime from another toy company. And that's not me being sarcastic. Well, okay, I am being sarcastic because, man, we've gotten a buttload of Optimus Primes in the recent past. But the official blurb here states, Unix Square presents you another new series of Transformers called Combot. They said it themselves, another new series. And it's mostly what we kind of expect from expensive imports these days. Over 50 points of articulation, fair amount of accessories, die-cast parts and LED lights, nice design that is slightly different from all the other offerings. It's fairly true to the classic design, but more angular. All the planes kind of skewed diagonal. Not my favorite, but it's still visually interesting. The gimmick here is that it does transform. Well, there's a lot of Transformers that transform, but it doesn't technically transform. Going to the blurb again, it says Optimus Prime can be reformed from robot mode to truck mode. Reformed. That doesn't mean he was a bad guy and then became a good guy. That means that the figure breaks apart and then you put it back together in vehicle mode. You know, how most of us solved Rubik's Cubes back in the day. Don't lie. Don't you lie to me. I know better. But yeah, there's also a graphic showing the process. I am Optimus Prime. Boom! Truck. $139 does seem a bit steep for a 7.5-inch Transformer, but hey, it's your money. You can do whatever you want. As part of this week's Gift the Galaxy, Hasbro announced the Black Series Jedi Master Kelnaka. But no one likes the Acolyte. On to the next item. Oh, you know better. It's a Jedi Wookiee. Gimme, 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 gimme. Better yet, it's a Wookiee with an all-new sculpt. So I am fantasizing about a new Chewbacca on the horizon. They're redoing the main cast of the original trilogy. Just makes sense. Take these limbs, give a new torso, new head, Chewbacca. Until then, though, Kelnaka can be running around defending my shelf. Because I don't care if he died quick. Greedo died quick. I've got several Greedos. I don't care if I didn't care for a lot of the show. That's why I didn't pick up a lot of the regular Jedi. But I love Wookiees. Wookiee. I can't put it any simpler. I like the look of the figure. I will get the figure. I will be happy. You're free to do whatever you want. I'll be over here enjoying myself. Because there's also some new droid action in the pipeline. Hasbro also announced that they will be making a Black Series Skeleton Crew SM-33. Pirate robot? Okay. I am a bit nervous given that the mechanical types haven't had the best track record lately. I'm hoping this turns that around. I'm just asking for some solid ankles here. Come on, please. Oh, and more Skeleton Crew figures. That would be cool. All the pirates and background aliens. And yeah, I'm even asking for the Stranger from Acolyte because... And then we're gonna finish it off with the Hasbro Marvel Legends fan stream that happened 5 minutes before I walked out here to record this. So we're gonna be doing this on the fly, off the cuff. Just looking at the pictures and going, okay, there's that. Like Electro. I did not know there is a female Electro now, but it looks cool. And I always like that design. So here we go. I'm really fighting the urge to say Electra, though, because that's how the naming convention usually goes, but there's already an Electra in Marvel. We already knew about Spider-Boy, but we hadn't seen this screaming, fanged, extra eye head. I still haven't done any research. You know me. I'm gonna go into this cold. But that makes me think that he actually has more spider traits than your standard Spider-Man, right? Does he kind of transform? Other than that, good looking smaller figure. I like the gold backpack. The colors kind of pop. Interesting. Spider-Man Unlimited's kind of going over my head too, but it's the first figure out of several that I thought, whoa, there's quite a bit of new sculpting on there. Or they've modified the existing molds to have actual raised edges. But again, it's a good looking figure that is on my may or may not list. You know how it is. Sometimes you go through a dry spell, you haven't bought anything in a while, and you think, okay, I'll pick up Spider-Man Unlimited, I guess. See how that goes. Whee! Kane. This is one of those that I feel have a loyal fan base, a die-hard fan base. But for me, it just kind of missed me. I think I'd gotten out of comics at that point. But again, for something that they could have easily just painted on the details, they sculpted the body to have all those squiggles all over it. And like Dwight pointed out, the color of the cape thing does stick out. It pops. It's a color that you don't see a lot in Marvel Legends. So, okay, that's cool too. And yeah, I guess hair. If that's your thing. I like Agent Venom a lot more than I thought I would. I have the, what was it, a Walgreens release, but I did paint it into Thunderbolt's colors with the red spider. So I'm more than happy to get this and keep it in the oh so delicious white and black color scheme. Plus I feel like this is going to be a lot more solid figure than that previous release. I also like the unmasked Flash head. It's got a bit of douchiness to it, but, you know, also that redemption arc where... That's all I got. But then we swing back around to some cartoon that came out in the 90s that had this version of Chameleon. Yeah, I know. It's a running joke. I didn't watch the 90s Spider-Man series, and I've been told many times that I should go back and watch it, but it's on a long list of things that I can never fit in. I do have some custom ideas for the body, though. It's nice and clean with some boots and shoulder pads. Still getting it. That rounds out the Spider-Man Retro wave that will go up for pre-order next week. Next, they went into some retailer exclusives, and they pulled out Kazar. They pulled out Zabu. They said the Savage Land action was going to be kicking in 2025. I thought, here we go. Give me the She-Devil. What? Don't get me wrong, it's X-Men. I love this. This will go on the shelf somewhere. In fact, I may get a couple of more for customs. Well, okay, depending on Target being Target with their exclusives. We'll see how hard that kick in the crotch is. But I'm not gonna lie, my excitement went, oh, it didn't go all the way back down. Again, X-Men. I still love it. In fact, as I look at it, and the helmet and stuff that I can use other places and custom fodder potential, it comes back up. But ooh, we still need to finish out the other thing. Come on. And I think they did say something about more Savage Land goodness next year, but they said that about a few things. I don't remember everything that was mentioned. It was like, oh, and we have more of this coming, and this coming, and this coming. So stay tuned, I guess. More Marvel Legends. I'm also happily surprised to see the 70s Spider-Man make an appearance. This will go on the shelf too, because I know I'm part of the older crowd, but back in the day, those lenses, the rope, okay, yeah, but it is Walmart exclusive, and we know how those go too. Sometimes they're okay to get, sometimes they're a pain in the ass. You never know. This ain't Warlord Professor X, where people are like, who? Oh, okay, this is Spider-Man. Oh, now I'm expecting the worst. Then Amazon's going to be getting No Way Home Lizard, which is good because one, it adds to my villain display, and two, I don't have to look at the posts on X and everything else asking for this figure anymore. Which is okay. Everybody can wish list, but man, every time I see it, again, they hinted that another one is on the way. They know the team is not finished yet. So yeah, again, buckle up. I feel like 2025 is going to be pretty kick-ass. Then they went into an X-Men wave. Oh, that's my meat and potatoes. And they started with Fabian Cortez, which for me is just kind of like, cool. I think when they first showed this a couple of months ago, I was like, I don't think I've ever read anything with Fabian Cortez in it. And then people reminded me of the early Jim Lee X-Men issues. With that, I made it to about issue 8. He may have appeared before that, but that was really my waning days of reading comics in the 90s. That was getting out of high school and, you know, everything that's involved there. I was doing it out of habit, picking up comics, and then about a year later, oh, well, okay, I gotta go off and do other stuff for a couple of years until Star Wars came out again. Saying that, it's a unique character for the shelf. I'm gonna say that a couple of times here, but it adds to the X-Men shelf. Come on. Because next was Age of Apocalypse Gambit, and my thoughts here are well known. I don't care for Age of Apocalypse or a lot of the costumes. But There's something interesting here. Again, more new sculpting than expected. There's that leather stripe running down the arm for absolutely no reason other than, hey, let's change up the costume a little bit. But then it goes down to the wrapped gloves. There's the boots, there's the knee pads, there's the head. For some reason, this pleases my eye more than some of the other costumes. While I know this version of Nightcrawler is also Age of Apocalypse, they took that design and brought it to the 616 for X-Force. So this is a bit more appealing to me because I want to finish off that team too. I'm pretty sure this is the X-Men 97 Nightcrawler body. You can still see the seam line on the chest running in the middle of the costume design here, but thankfully the glove and boot tops are sculpted too, so that just puts it over the top. That makes it a good Nightcrawler body. Then there's Husk, another era of comics or section of comics that I didn't really get into. The up-and-comers, the new guys. But we already have Monet. Might as well add Husk, and I do like the peeling the face away look. That can be how she's displayed, and then I have an alternate head for other uses. Actually, I just thought of something. Extreme Wolverine is extreme. The black costume, the yellow stripes, it's Wolverine. I do like that they changed up the legs because I think that gets us one step closer to Spy Wolverine. I don't know if that's an option. Well, okay, that was his look when he was with Maverick and Sabretooth, right? In Team X. More Wolverine anniversary ideas. But then we get to my favorite reveal, X-Factor Cyclops. Now, I have wish-listed many a Cyclops in the past. When it comes to X-Factor, I'm more of a white and blue kind of guy. But seeing it in yellow won me over. I want the team in this color. My preference would still be the later costumes, but man, give me a Jean in the green and yellow. And what was Hank wearing? The blue and red, and then Iceman, and then Angel. But another thing that makes me giddy here is they're continuing the trend to put Cyclops on the newer body, which is so much better than all the Cyclopses we've gotten in the past. Give me this in blue and white. Throw on some cuffs on the gloves and boots and give us the cockrum again, because that 2-pack was a pain in the ass to get. All the Cyclops eyes, sees, souls. Oh, and the new blast effect? Love it. I do. It adds so much to the feel. This is how he's getting displayed. Marrow is another one of those characters that kind of missed me, like Maggot, where I know of their existence, but again, seeing it in figure form and how they did with the new sculpt on the torso, the bone coming out, the spikes, the spine, the weapons, the color scheme, the head sculpt. It's one of those, when I see on a list, it's kind of like, okay, Marrow, cool, whatever. Show me some plastic. Oh! Especially this pose. Just ready for action. And then, whoa, before we go there, this pose. When I saw this on the stream, it was like, okay, I don't have room on my shelf for those kind of poses, but it is definitely going to make it into that at some point. Then the Build-A-Figure for the wave is Nemesis, who, again, wasn't high on my list, hadn't read a lot with this character in it. I didn't build the original figure, which was half based on, well, okay, it's Nemesis, but also because of the figures in that wave. We're just kind of like, But this looks crazy good. The deep reds, the silvers, the helmet, the dome, it comes off. You can move the skull up under there into position, put the dome back on, looking to the side, articulated, big figure. My initial reaction when they pulled it out from behind the desk and you were only seeing feet as it came over, I was like, why in the hell are they putting an Iron Man in an X-Men wave? What has gone on? Oh, wait, okay, it's Nemesis, look at that. Okay, I'm good. Over half this wave wasn't on my own personal radar. It's just, I have other priorities for my own shelf and display, but man, I know people are fans of a lot of this, and I am super happy for them. And like I said, the figures themselves have won me over. Maybe it's the initial shock, seeing the live stream, getting excited, coming out here talking about toys. Maybe I'll feel different in a few weeks when I'm going back and looking at the promo pictures, but at this moment, give me all of this X-Men wave. I'm ready. Next, there were teases, and since it was the end of the year, the big blowout Marvel Legends fan stream, Dan, Ryan, and Dwight all had a tease. First, there's this. I am 96.23% sure that this is classic Adam Warlock. Next was this web. And I have no clue other than it's got to be a Spider-Man character of some kind, right? Finally was this, which is kind of hard to see because of Dwight's dark shirt, but zooming in, my first impression was long shot. Are we getting another long shot? You know, he had the blades with the little itty bitty handle on them, but then I realized, no, these are bigger. Like Archangel's feathers that he used to shoot out of, or well, his blades when he had the metal wings. They talked about X-Force earlier in the stream and how there are probably more on the way. Makes sense, right? Archangel. And that's all I have as of this exact moment in time, Friday before noon. So there may have been something else shown, but like always, we'll swing back around next week. As always, special thanks to the Patreon, the no bots. I wouldn't be able to do this. And I know that sounds like, well, I wouldn't be able to do this without you. No, seriously. I would not be able to do this without y'all. Like I said at the lav mic, this whole shoot, I've been worried that it's just like buzzing or too hot or something. And so hopefully that came out. But I wanted to switch to the lav mic to get microphones out of my face. Look, there's no shadow when I lean forward. Another reason is so I can actually move around. And the sound should sound the same all over the place. Going over to here, look, see, all over. La 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 la. Oh man, I need to clean up in here. I've also talked about it with the customizing and going through the process of that. This is what I'd be using at the desk, looking down. Instead of a microphone over here, that I'm looking away from, and it just comes off as... But another thing this week is I quit caffeine for the most part, and it was rough for a couple of days, but now I'm feeling very just... la. And I noticed myself doing it during this episode, just getting a little too... So how y'all? Y'all doing pretty good? That's enough about me. I feel like I'm just constantly talking about myself on these episodes. I hope all of y'all are doing good. Again, getting into the holidays and maybe some time off. Need to be careful out there because that's getting worse. Oh, I can do this too. Just look away from the camera. You can still hear me, hopefully. Is that enough? You sick of me? I'll see y'all next week. And there's no fade away because... Okay, goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. I'm coming around. I'm going to shut off the camera now.